What's up, everybody? It's Meet Me at the Bar Monday. I'm Coach Joe from Breakaway Fitness and Performance. I'm going to keep expanding on what I've been talking about with the back squat over the last couple of weeks. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about where you should place your hands on the bar, or hand placement before you go into a squat, and how important that is for setting up correctly. Then the following week, last week, we talked about hand position and how that can help you put that bar in a good spot, create tension through your whole body, and become one with the bar so you have a good, safe lift. Now I want to talk about the bar placement on your back. There's different styles, but there's two main styles people are aware of usually when we discuss bar placement on the back. One is the high bar back squat, one is the low bar back squat. And then there's a third that's kind of like a hybrid in between, where we essentially use the tops of your shoulder blades or your deltoids as a shelf. And that's where we tend to take most people, but we're going to talk about them. So the high bar back squat is one that's going to sit a lot higher up on your shoulders, closer to your neck. And usually, if you've got good range of motion in your hips and your ankles, it's going to allow you to stay more upright in your squat. So to set up for a high bar back squat, we go here. It's going to go right at the top, on top of your shoulders. So you can see that barbell is on top of my traps. It's not rolled down my back at all. It's right up high. I got a big chest. I got my shoulders up, so I've got a good pad for that barbell. And then you can drop into your squat from here. And for most people, a lot of people, keeping that bar there allows them to stay more vertical in the squat because that bar is closer to the front of their body. Now, if you've got poor range of motion in your ankles and your hips, it might lead to tilting too far forward, but that again is dependent down there, which is for another video. So that's the high bar back squat. Some people prefer that, some people don't. Then there's the low bar. So the low bar, we're going to set this thing up pretty low on your back, and then that's going to affect your starting body position as well, because the bar is going to be so low on your back that to keep it within your center of mass, right here, kind of over your shoestrings, it's going to lead to you having to start like this, and you're going to lean further forward as you go down because the bar is already further back. And that leaning further forward helps control some of that displacement of that bar back, and then maintain that bar going straight up and down within your center of mass. So a low bar back squat is going to be pretty far down your back. Some people might even hold this just with a couple of fingers on the bar, but if you see, it's way down. So if I stand up, you can see it's below my shoulders. Pretty far down. Everybody's a little different with this, but it's going to lead you starting your squat with a slight lean forward and then dropping into your squat and really driving those hips back. And you might even hinge forward a little bit more, but if you're nice and strong in your back and your core, shouldn't be a problem at all. Some people love the low bar back squat, and it can help make up for a lack of mobility in the ankles sometimes, because we're able to keep those shins pretty vertical on that. Finally, there's this hybrid version. There's a couple different ways to approach this, but this is one that we tend to use here, and it's basically just in between there. So what we'll have people do is set their hands up, and they'll get underneath that bar, and if they're in the high bar, we'll have them go a little bit lower, kind of right on top of those shoulder blades and those deltoids, and use that as a shelf. So it's definitely higher than a low bar, but it's not as high as a high bar back squat. This tends to be a pretty good compromise for most people, depending on what their range of motion is in their shoulders. And it also tends to be a pretty good compromise if we've got ankle and hip mobility issues as well. So we've talked about hand placement on the bar to set up properly. We've talked about wrist and hand position on the bar, and we've talked about bar position on your back. So if you get a chance, click the links, go back and watch those. They're not any longer than this video now, because I want you to practice this stuff. Hopefully you can get better at it. If you've got any specific technical questions, throw them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you at the bar next week.